Good afternoon, and welcome back as we continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. This is Three of Swords Gaming, and we are currently at the end of the first chapter of Season 4. So, to start Season 4, essentially, the city of Amnoon is like under attack from Kralkatorrik, and we defend it, or Kralkatorrik's minions at least. We defend the city of Amnoon, and then Irene gives us this vision, like, hey, there are these people, and they're like oppressed, and you need to go help them. We get a vision, and that vision is of the city of Fahranur. So we come here to the domain of Istan in the pursuit of gaining access to Fahranur, presumably to help these people. But as we progress through it, something else makes Fahranur, important beyond helping the people of Istan, and that is that Taimi has gotten snatched up. Right, so Taimi is kidnapped, and we care about that. So of course we are going to attempt to rescue her. All these things take us to Fahranur, so that's where we're at now. Now I will say, with this instance in particular, there does come a moment right towards the end of the instance when there is a pretty solid probability that we will get killed. In fact, there's an achievement for not getting killed. Whether or not I get that achievement, it kind of depends on the class I play more often than not. But the fact that there's an achievement for not getting killed kind of lends perspective to how they tuned that portion of the instance, right? Certainly doable, but hard enough that it requires you to put forth meaningful effort, at least in terms of, the average player on the bell curve of Guild Wars 2 players. Uh, Whatever that looks like. So, hey, I might die.
There she is,
It happens.
across the water.
Or as Arcana Barrow would say, it's overrated. Never sticks. Is that what he says? Never sticks?
Looks like it's seen better days. That city is home to centuries of my people's history. Without it, Bologna would be nothing. Fahranur was home to the seat of the primeval dynasty, the shining quintessence of Bolognian life. But then came the ravage of the Scarab Plague, and the end of the primeval kings.
So this is a location that in the first game you travel to as well. In both cases, here in Season 4 and in the first game, the story takes you to it. And in both cases, it is a city that is long abandoned, not occupied. It's a dead city, so to speak. That makes Irene's vision, interesting in that, because it was specifically, or appeared to specifically be about Fahranur, and yet, it's an unoccupied city. Now, if her vision was related to Taimi getting kidnapped, okay, except that if we hadn't come here in the first place, Taimi would not have gotten kidnapped. So that's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing. But it gave them a good opportunity to reintroduce an area from the first game. And to be clear, while I am opposed to them reintroducing characters from the first game and reintroducing like storyline from the first game, I think that's really been overdone. I am a fan of them reintroducing locations from the first game. I do enjoy it when they do that. So we get some of that here, and I find it likable. Oh no! Indeed, I agree, Canuck.
I feel good.
Enough of this. Commander says she feels good. I actually have my suspicions. I think Commander's overstating her current state of well-being.
Up ahead, another of Joko's rot bags. We should follow it.
That being this guy right
Tour
here.
guide. Anything else we should know about these cursed lands before we go rushing in?
Well, this is where Spear Marshal Cormier inadvertently woke the fallen god Abaddon.
Feel the
Fighting
fury.
one fallen god was enough for a lifetime. Be careful what you touch.
Yes, so that's a reference to, and I actually mentioned it like a couple videos ago, as I recall. Might have been when we were doing Path of Fire and we met Cormier. I think it was. We met Cormier in the mists there in her like fancy library. She is the one who unleashed Abaddon during Guild Wars, the first game, the Nightfall expansion. So for her to kind of question us when it comes to
I recall childhood tales about a series of trials required to enter this place. It appears those stories were true.
Perhaps we should double back outside to look for another way in.
No time. Our raptors should be able to make this jump.
I don't know.
It's true, they should.
I think I see quite a few raptor bones down there alongside the others.
I'll go first to make certain it's safe.
No. Taimi is my responsibility. I'll take the lead.
why not just let Zaim go? What was I saying? Yes, so Cormier, you know, like of anyone should not be the person or entity or whatever questioning the impact of our actions and whether we inadvertently have caused some sort of further damage to the world of Tyria, because she essentially did the same thing. Her good intentions led to significant damage to Alona. So she essentially was, you know, pulled a commander before the commander ever thought about being the commander. So a lot of this, like these traps and stuff, are duplications of the way this area worked in the first game, and I do like that as well. Again, I like them reintroducing areas, and I like for us to see those areas change over time.
Did a trick all right.
Look out! Your journey ends here.
Oh no, but I was enjoying my journey.
Time to do some real damage.
Alright, so we're going to need to kill all these little dudes before we can get to the big dude. And the big dude is problematic, so the quicker we can get through these minions, the better off we're going to be. Oh, that skill kills me. I mean, not literally. It's not the most dangerous one, but it sure is annoying.
Feel the fury. Time to do some real damage. I'll break you down.
Alright, I got that taken care of.
Commander, over here. Looks like Taimi's hair bow.
Your young friend is ingenious. Don't tell her that.
Okay, but isn't the entire plot of Guild Wars 2 like predicated on Taimi being a genius?
Yes, the stories of the real plague are horrifying. Scarabs bursting out of flesh, devouring people from within. Now Joko's army uses dark magic that resembles the Scarab plague to strike fear in his enemies. That's just plain evil. We're lucky he doesn't have the real thing.
But he does have Taimi.
Yes, we're lucky he doesn't have the real thing.
I could outrun a centaur.
Oh, Taimi. Poor Taimi. All that pressure of saving the world every single time the commander needs an answer on how to save the world. And she gets kidnapped.
I'll break you
All right, now here's a touch that I like quite a bit. This is one of those, the ArenaNet's really interesting when it comes to this kind of thing, because when it comes to like attention to detail, they either do like a fantastic job or they just miss the plot entirely. And this is one of those areas where I feel like they did a fantastic job when it comes to attention to detail. Um, these fights between the branded and the awakened up here.
So now there are awakened and branded. Lovely.
Don't interrupt me again, Canuck.
Each seems to be distracting the other.
Yes. So we see like both are damageable and also they damage each other, although they're not doing a whole lot of damage right now. None, it looks like. But they could have just made those, like they could have made them green, like non-damageable. It could have been scenery instead of something that we can interact with. And I appreciate that it's something we can in fact interact with. I think it's a nice touch. I think it adds to the instance for sure. All right, I like this. I like this room. Fun times. There's some stuff that happens here that I don't like, but this is great.
These bodies, they're Asura. At least Taimi's not among them.
There are also inquest from the look of it.
Strange. As far as I knew, the Asura were all expelled or killed when Joko claimed these lands. Never a good sign when the Inquest are around, dead or alive.
We're penned in. We've got to find a way past this wall.
Good thing I didn't waste these explosives on the gate.
Good thing, Canuck. Jeez. Serendipity.
Feel the fury.
These things were creepy enough before they started.
So I've mentioned a couple times during the story playthrough that I enjoy it when you get like a huge horde of enemies. And individually, the enemies aren't that daunting, but the whole thing like feels daunting because of just the massive numbers. This is a really good example of that, and because they explode when you kill them, and because there's a meaningful number of them, then it can be, I don't know about daunting, but at least requires some thought and active gameplay, and I like it. Oh, calm down, Canuck. I really do like Canuck, but every now and then there is such a thing as like a Canuck overdose. An excess of Canuckness. In fairness to Canuck, I suppose demolitions generally aren't something that like it benefits you to rush. Keep losing pets. So those explosions. They explode when they die. That's what's repeatedly killing the pet. Poor rock gazelle.
That doesn't sound like a small, dead, rodenty thing.
Great. Now I have to start over.
Just focus on setting those explosives. Venom, too strong.
So does Ritlock's comment confirm that Asura are some sort of rodent? Is that what that does? I'm not sure. Alright, so this debris is going to come in handy on this guy in a second. Hey, man.
Shut that thing up. It really makes it hard to concentrate.
Should have just kept my hammer if he was just going to chase me around. There it is. Oh, he got me before I could throw my rock. Disappointing.
We heal as one.
Ah.
Clear the air. I'll break you down. Feel the fury.
Oh, buddy.
We heal as one. Clear the air. We heal as one.
All right. Is that Canuck telling us that? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Good job, Canuck.
Canuck, what did you do?
Watch your heads!
Ram.
Commander?
Of course. Why am I not surprised? How did you get here?
We chased whatever these things are through some portals, trying to see where they're coming from.
Wait, what portals?
Isn't that why you're here? Portals have started popping up all over Tyria and spitting out these things.
Joko's forces are in Tyria?
If these shambling rod piles are his, then yeah, Tyria's teaming with them. But if you're not here for the portals...
We're here to rescue Taimi from Joko.
You let this Joko character take Taimi? No one lets Joko do anything. He takes what he wants.
Who's this guy?
I am Zain, Spear Marshal of the Sun Spears. So first you put your man to sleep with that blasted machine.
Enough!
Taimi's in danger. Anyone who wants to save her can come with me.
Oh, Bram. So caught up in the moment. So emotional. And this is why he gets a bad rap. I don't even think he's the worst character they wrote. Genuinely do not. But he feels that way to a lot of people, and it's because of stuff like that right there. Like that little emotional outburst. I don't have a problem with it for Bram's character. But, players find it off-putting.
We heal as one.
Am I okay? Sure, I'm okay. Are you okay? We're all okay here.
Time to do some real damage.
There's so many!
So this whole, giant horde thing that I was talking about a minute ago, we get it twice in, 10 minutes of gameplay here. Which I like it. But it is something that we see more of in Living World Season 4 than maybe at other times. Because we'll get another... 1... 2... It's going to happen at least twice in the next chapter as well. So it is a thing that we get quite a bit.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, I need to quit killing these guys and go kill the gates. That's what I get for not paying attention while I'm doing.
Time to do some real damage.
Uh-oh. Ah, boo.
Whatever you just did, it turned off the gate. Do it again.
Yeah, I literally just broke the gate, Bram. That's all I did. And then some random awakened soldier knocked me out. That is... yeah, isn't that the way it goes? Sometimes, it's just a random guy that gets you.
We heal as one.
Alright, Alright, let's get this other gate before I manage to get myself, like, completely killed. Alright, now we can take care of these guys. I got the cart ahead of the horse. The proverbial cart ahead of the proverbial horse, at least. I gotta quit running into corners as well.
Time to do some real damage.
Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this game. There we go. So as their numbers start to thin out, it starts to identify them individually. That's how we know we're finally getting close to the end of the board.
Excuse me, but does this strike anyone as an implausible amount of Asura technology to find in an ancient human city?
It looks like the tech from Rodanovis. Maybe this was one of Zin's labs.
That explains why the Inquest are here. They have a thing for that guy.
Or they just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
This is actually a weird place for an Asura lab. Although I suppose with the people of Alona not coming here for a combination of valid and superstitious reasons, that did make it, a viable location for like a secret Inquest lab. All right.
What's this? These plates in the ground.
More trials.
All right. So because of the way I approach, it's a little unclear what's happening here. So these plates unlock this flame wall, and we cannot progress until we get through that flame wall. So the trick is, oh yeah, first I gotta go stand on one of these. That's gonna cue everybody on what we need to do.
Help with this.
All right, everybody pick a plate. But there aren't enough of us. So come on, where are the rocks? Should be some rocks down here. But also the branded earth. Oh, boulder. There we go. Branded earth elementals here will also leave like crystals, which we can also use same as the rocks. See, branded crystal.
I could
That'll
outrun
do
a
the trick.
centaur.
I thought it was a boulder. Like, oh yeah, there it is.
Feel the fury.
Feel the fury of me picking up a rock.
I'll break you down.
I wonder if this is the same asset as those like meteors that fall in the open world. Might be. I did that meteor thing like so rarely. And really on my main account I should go back and complete the weapon collection for this map, because it's really, really good. Like, really good. I think they're fantastic weapons. The astral weapons, named after the astral area, really fantastic. But they require like very particular. Well, you can buy what you need, but the alternative would be that you do like the very particular like meteor mining harvesting thing on the map, which is like time consuming and not terribly rewarding in the grand scheme of things. It's really only useful for pursuing that weapon collection. So like, eesh. That's what's kept me from finishing it. Even though the weapons themselves are absolutely fantastic.
Enough of this.
Which way are we going here? Over here? Yeah.
What is that?
Inquest trip?
Replaying security log. I won't open it! I'd rather die than help you.
If you prefer, you can die and help me. The order doesn't matter.
That's a good line. I like it.
Cross those 2 wires and hit that button. Replay complete.
Alright, let's cross 2 wires and hit the button. Cross wires. Press the button.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Yay.
Well, that's not good.
What in the name of the tree is this?
It's an infestation. No, it's an army. Joko is calling them forth.
Well, let's go check it out.
We'll guard your flank, Commander. You get time.
Hey, it's Taimi, right there in the middle.
Healed up. Time to do some real damage.
The awakened made me open the
Hi, Taimi.
I'm here, Taimi. Just hold on.
grill.
Clear the air.
The crimes of the Tyrian commander are an act of war.
After the fight, friend.
Therefore, the kingdom of Alona will respond in kind. His Majesty, allow Joko, regrets you will not survive to see your homeland burn and your people enslaved. But he offers this gesture in compensation.
Oxygen purge protocol initiated.
Commander? None of my controls in here are responding.
Internal oxygen levels at 95%.
Okay. Okay, Taimi. What's the problem?
Internal oxygen levels at 90%.
We have to smash that thing open. He's gonna suffocate her in there.
Smash it open.
Careful. I've given Scruffy a few upgrades.
Why would you do that, Taimi?
85%.
This is why you don't take children into combat.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Because they give their golems upgrades. How many times do I have to say it?
I could outrun. We heal as one. We'll be doing that one for days. Feel the fury. I could outrun a centaur.
So, I've said it probably a million times. And by a million, I mean less than a million, but a number of times. I don't like Taimi as a character.
Miniature electrical storms.
Not even a little bit. Well, maybe a tiny bit, but not much. But I do think her voice actor is the best voice actor in the game. Absolutely. And this is of all, like, the times that we interact with Taimi, this instance puts that on display as much as any point in time. How good that voice actor is. Alright. We need our static conduit here. So when you throw these things, we got to throw these at the static storm, right? When you throw these things, they take seemingly forever to get where they're going. Look at that arc. Way up there. So it's very easy to miss if you don't expect that. If you expect it to fly like a normal projectile, you're going to be real disappointed and it's going to throw off your whole mojo. And there is an achievement. Again, we should already have it from when I did this did this chapter on the 0 to 0 playthrough to get Skyscale. But there is an achievement for like never missing with these things, and it's like, I don't want to say it's difficult, but it's harder than one might have expect because of that weird like lofting trajectory.
Internal oxygen levels at 80%.
Whoop.
Get a grip. Taimi, control your fan. Starting to wish I hadn't made Scruffy so good.
Me too, Taimi.
Internal oxygen levels at
If you think you're wishing it, imagine how I feel right about now.
70%. Why did it skip 75? It's not fair. I'm on fire. Clear the air.
Feel the fury. I could outrun a centaur. Hurts, doesn't it?
internal oxygen levels at 60%.
Oh no.
That seems like a bad percentage, man.
Get her out of that thing.
Taimi, what's going on, buddy?
That was impressive.
Oh.
Time to do some real damage.
I'll break you down. We heal as one.
Less than optimal. Not where we wanted to be in life. There we go. I actually needed that.
Hard to breathe in here.
Recoup a little bit.
Find more. Pause to smash.
Internal oxygen levels at 50%.
You take care of the other gates. I can handle the big one. Stop. Hurry.
Well, mathematically, we're doing great, right? Because Scruffy's health is well below 50%, and oxygen's still 50%. We should be very satisfied with this. I mean, obviously not, but... You know, in theory, if the math was that simple. And Bram is like the ultimate, like, armchair quarterback or backseat driver or whatever term you want to use. We're gliding, man. Jeez.
2 more gates to go.
No, I suppose, truthfully, that is actually kind of a welcome thing to, you know, kind of be updated and have like that status, you know, like how are things going? Oh, I know how things are going because I have a character. Oh yeah, I forgot these things pull as well, which really complicates the whole process of. Oh my gosh, I'm making it hard. There, let's just do that. Yes, keeping your distance from them, probably a smart play. I probably should have remembered that. Alright. Almost there. This feels like a very long boss fight, doesn't it? Whether or not it is, I don't, I haven't compared the time of like various, if you don't want to say boss fight, various like culminating encounters across, different Living World seasons and stuff. It just feels long. But so do several of them in Season 4, and actually really like going forward. It was something that they started to do more and more of. Oh, I might have. Alright.
Okay, we'll run out of juice eventually. After the auxiliary power runs out.
Feel the fury. I'll break you down. We heal as one. Time to do some real damage.
Yeah, we're getting real close to like the Scruffy's kind of final move here, at which time it gets tricky. Here we go.
Internal oxygen levels at 40%.
40%. Again, straight. Wait,
Feel the fury.
what's happening?
Weapon charge level critical. Shield charge level critical.
No. Oh no! Look out!
Initiating rapid ammunition
Not my pet.
discharge protocol.
Next.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Bram. Oh, what happened to our shield, Bram? I kind of feel like that would have been immensely helpful. Whoop. Don't want to fall during this part. Not if you want, like, the achievement for surviving this, at least. So this is the part where, like, trying to not die here potentially will get you an achievement. Ooh, but that's not how to do it. That is less than optimal.
We heal as one.
I don't want to die like this either, Taimi. I think we're both a little unhappy with the current state of affairs. Oh, get out of there.
Not my pet.
There we go. We actually did it. I'm shocked.
Ammunition banks depleted.
So that would have been an achievement had we not got it on 0 to 0 playthrough.
Taimi, say something.
Something.
Wake up. Oh, thank goodness.
Never been so happy to smell dead people.
Gross, Taimi.
Well, we've stopped that. For the moment.
At least Joko won't be getting any more awakened from here.
I doubt this was his only source for soldiers. He'll regroup, but we've put a serious dent in his plans.
The big question is, what else is he planning?
Taimi,
Experiments. He has them doing experiments.
What kind of experiments?
I don't know. Bugs. Something with bugs.
Gross.
We came through another inquest lab. Do you think it's here in Alona?
If it is, we'll find it.
All right. Good time. So we got a bit of dialogue available to us here. Let's go ahead and move through it before we jump to Chapter 2. Rox, what are your thoughts now that we have rescued Taimi from Palawa Joko?
Glad to see you, Commander. I wish it was under happier circumstances.
Yes.
I've been missing my old friends since Garm retired.
I'd be under a dead abomination and a pile of rubble if it weren't for you two. Especially you, Bram.
Instincts kicked in.
Hey, it's not like you haven't saved Bram's neck a time or two. Right, Bram? Well, I gave it a shot.
Yeah, maybe don't try so hard, Rox. Bram, you got more you want to say?
Rox and I were in Holbrook trying to figure out how to get to Jormag, since you put him to sleep under a mountain of ice.
These portals just started opening up all around the city. Then those awakened, you call them, started pouring out. These were different from normal Asura gates. They just seemed to appear out of nowhere.
Taimi, you mentioned some advancements in Asura gate technology.
Yeah, Zin and the Radanovans were working on it.
And now the Inquest and Joko have it. Nothing more dangerous than bad guys with new toys.
It's true. It's a good point. Alright. Taimi. So that was, Bram and Rox both had the thing in common, which is they showed up to this whole event late, right? And really in a fairly silly fashion. I didn't really have time to address it at that point in time, but like we're doing our thing, and then poof, through some miracle of bizarre coincidence, like Bram and Rox just happen to be right there, see us about to get squished by Rox, and Bram throws up a shield. I don't so much have complaint with like the strength of Bram's shield, because it's no more egregious than like Queen Janice shielding the entire city of Divinity's Reach in season 3. But like, are we to believe that if it weren't for that outrageous coincidence, that the commander's story would be over? Like, anyway, so those were the two that had that in common. Taimi was the one who got kidnapped. Taimi, what are your thoughts on all this? Oh, we don't get voice acting? I think we do if we click on this. Thanks for coming to get me, Commander. Or thank you again for coming for me, Commander. I told Joko we weren't afraid of him. Yes, so we actually heard some of that in the dialogue, didn't we? Like Taimi kind of standing up and being brave, even though she was in fact quite terrified, as we saw from, or heard rather from the voice acting. Nothing else you can remember?
How are you feeling, Taimi? I know it's still early, but is there any?
Oh, we're gonna like crouch down and look at her.
What you saw?
I've been better. It's not every day you're almost asphyxiated by your own golem. But I'll live. With Inquest being part of Joko's awakened army, there's no telling what kind of crazy information he has access to.
Whatever he's planning, we'll be ready for it.
It's good to have you back, Bram.
Aw, shucks, they're buddies. So as you might recall in season 1, like, she kind of adopts Bram versus the other way around, as her like guardian, and Bram's like, I don't know this kid. That's with when Logan's trying to like get rid of Taimi. We do the marionette, and Logan's like, what is this kid doing out here in the middle of nowhere? He takes her back to Lion's Arch, and then she's like, oh, this guy's my guardian, regarding Bram. She says that to Logan. And Bram's like, I don't know what's going on, and Logan's like, here, take care of this kid, right? Because Logan's like, the picture of responsibility. So he dumps Taimi off on some random Norn, Bram. And Bram's kind of, taken care of her ever since, to some degree, right? Although, we certainly were under the impression that, because Taimi is literally capable of anything, she probably doesn't need someone actually taking care of her, I guess. And didn't have anyone taking care of her for like months at a time while she was by herself in Radanovus, when it was still overrun with Chalk. So,
With Joko attacking Tyria, it seems like your revolution has become an international affair.
I fear for your people, Commander. I know too well the suffering Joko brings to those under his reign. I pledge to you that the Sun Spears will do everything in our power to prevent your Tyrians from knowing that misery.
And I pledge we will end his reign here in Alona. He poses a threat too great to ignore.
Here's to an alliance between our people. May our enemies tremble in fear.
Something like that.
So Spear Marshal Zaim here, leader of the Sun Spears, like attempts to forge like an alliance here. He's like, we can work together. We can overcome this evil. And the commander has like a sarcastic, smartass response. Like, what is wrong with you, Commander? So generally, I play human female, right? For the aesthetic enjoyment of spending thousands of hours in the game. I just prefer it that way. But the human voice actor for the commander, or the voice actor for human commander, is like not the best voice actor. Like puts emphasis on weird things and constantly sounds Like she's just like really being horrible to everyone around her. Like I have to assume that the voice actor for the human female commander is insufferable in real life because she plays the commander as an insufferable human being. But you know, when I'm not doing something like this, if I'm just playing by myself, hanging out, I don't have the sound on anyway, so I don't notice it that much. All right, Canuck, what are your thoughts on the commander?
Joko's plan is inspired. Using Asura gates to go behind enemy lines. Insidious, but intelligent. My only question is, how did Joko learn these gates even existed?
One Inquest scientist wanders too far from home, ambushed by an awakened horde, dragged in front of Joko. Joko tortures him, kills him, awakens him, then picks around in the poor dead guy's brain until he finds what he wants.
Yes, that would probably do it.
It would. So I mean, I have to assume that approximately 17 and a half seconds after Asura gates were proved to be a viable technology, somebody thought about the military use for them. Like, I mean, it seems like a real stretch that Joko's the first person who thought of this. The barrier, if you want to, like, merge game lore and technology, as far as I understand it, had always been that the gates required, like, very, like they had to be anchored, right? So the gates could not spontaneously appear anywhere. They you know, you had to establish the gates in static locations, if you will. And thus the technology was like not viable the way Joko's using it. So Joko has discovered a trick that previously people were not able to do. Now, when they're referring to these invasions, right, like, what are they talking about? So when this chapter was rolled out, an open world thing was also rolled out where, let's see, can we access? We can. Okay. So in all the starter areas, and then one other map as well. What other map is it? Is it Gandharn Fields? I think it's Gandharn Fields. And then each of the starting areas. There are invasions of Awakened, like every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. I think it's 15 minutes. And you could kind of just rotate through them. It would actually be like an excellent mechanism for leveling like a low-level character because it's in starter areas, but it gives a really significant amount of experience, right? And the loot is level 80, even if you're like level 6 when you do the events. So that is potentially very beneficial to a new account or you know, whatever. It is confusing sometimes to new players to be getting like level 80 drops and not know what to do with them because they've been playing for all of about 16 minutes.
Joko's got no idea what he's starting. Conquering humans is one thing, but there's a world of hurt awaiting for him in Ascalon.
Hey, Ritlock.
We have to focus on stopping his attack from here in Elona.
I'll get in touch with Logan. Tell him to mobilize the Pact. Let him know we're down here doing our part.
So has the Pact now become just like a general usage military organization that can just kind of do whatever? Like, is that what it is now? Because I mean, I guess. I thought it was dedicated to the dragon specifically. Okay, so we have now talked to everybody, and that wraps up the first chapter of Season 4. So let's insert a video break right here, and then we're going to continue into the second chapter and charge forward because I have a long weekend, and so that provides a great opportunity to kind of get ahead on recording some of these since it's difficult to do during the work week. So we have completed Chapter 1 of Season 4. We have responded to the request of Irene, essentially, who said, hey, you need to go to Istan and help people. And we did that, but then in the process, Taimi got snatched up, and now we've rescued Taimi. But lo and behold, Joko's forces are invading all of Tyria, and so that's problematic for us, problematic for Tyria in general. And as we continue, we are going to be trying to address that particular problem. So let's move forward and do that.